Hello to my family of light and love, kindness, truth, trust, compassion. This is, I hadn't planned on this today, but I'm just, you know, how once in a while you get blue or you get under the weather, you can't seem to pick yourself out of it. And when that happens, I have a tendency to go, it's an inner journey for me. And so this is really, I don't know if I'm going to post this right away or if this will be part of the series that I'm doing, because it's kind of out of the blue. I felt a necessity to do it when I don't, it's at a time where I wouldn't normally be doing one. So, you know, what do I do with that? What do you do when the sadness is in you and there's, you don't know how to lift yourself up out of it? You're not even entirely sure what's going on. You may have had, you know, it could stem from you having a fight with someone the day before, or overhearing someone saying or doing something that person may not even be related to you. I've had, it's almost like a kick in the shin standing in the grocery line when I heard something, and it affected me and I couldn't seem to shake that off. So, you know, what do I do about it? Well, I usually sit with that for a little while. So I try and find a quiet place and walk through and process and allow just for myself to be with whatever the feelings are and try to identify the feelings. Now, I'm gonna start sharing more personal things about me on my website, and I have had a lifetime of you know, and off and on. I'm not saying that, you know, my whole life has been a disaster or anything, but of abuses and betrayals, neglect, when you are supposed to be protected when you're young and that doesn't happen, that goes deep into your cells. When you're betrayed, and most people can manage that once in a while, but when it becomes something that's repeated over and over again and you haven't resolved it, it goes inward and it sits in there somewhere in your body and it festers and it ekes out in other ways at a subconscious level. So you may be you know, visiting or having a conversation with somebody, and they may say something, and you might snap with something back at them that maybe they didn't even feel was deserved or, you know, relevant. Now, when you get older, you get more cagey at those, making it relevant. But it really isn't a good place to be, no matter how you look at it. Feeling bad is that. It feels bad. It's uncomfortable. You want to cry. You want to weep. You have this sorrow. You don't know what to do with it, and you don't know how to shake it. So when I sit with it, it's hard sometimes. Yeah, that's my challenge, is to get into a meditative, contemplating space and sitting with just with the emotion. Allow yourself to be in the center of it so that you can identify what it is, what the emotion is. Is it anger? Is it fear? Is it resentment? Is it sorrow? Is it betrayal? Is it from not feeling worthy, or, you know, whatever. I mentioned in one of my videos, or maybe I haven't, I'm going to have to go back and look, that I wrote a story about myself when I was 3.5 and I ran away from home. And the interesting thing about that story for me is that those feelings, that upset, the reason for running away from home was not something a 3.5-year-old could deal with, and up to that point. And it was even buried even deeper in my subconscious. I didn't even become aware of it until I became a hypnotherapist, in which case that memory became unlocked and aspects of it. And then later, as I evolve and learn how to connect with those emotions and the feelings that go with it, then a whole bigger picture emerges. So that's a valuable thing. If you can't meditate, and it's difficult when you're in the midst of feeling something strongly, deeply, profoundly. So you may have to let it pass. I've gone out for a walk. I've driven myself out to the beach. The water, for me, I'm a Pisces and a water baby. And the beach for me is a place of realizing that I'm in the ebb and flow of life, and that's how the God energy is. There's an ebb and a flow to it, and a solution and a resolution, but you have to get into that ebb and flow. And the water is always a peacekeeper. If I don't have water, I do love the forests and the nature spirits, and walking, with that energy for a while. So the key, again, is to connect the best you can with the feelings and the emotions that are emerging that have not named themselves. Another way of accessing those is by writing. So getting out some, journal. Start writing down just what you're feeling, your thoughts, and just allow it to keep going. And pretty soon you'll be unlocking a few of the things that are probably connected with and surrounding that, those feelings. So that's a really good thing, and it's also something I do. The other thing is, once I have, and if I'm not really connecting with it, I can begin asking questions, and there are lots of ways of doing that. Now, many people are against pendulums. I am a believer that any way you can connect with God, when it is in your highest good, when you can access your guidance, your beings of light. God is light and love. So you can say, I want to be connected with my beings of light and love. In fact, I should grab my pendulum. I'll do that in a video. I'd wanted to do a video on plan to do a video on intuition, and that's one of the resources I'll use. So I'll try to get on that soon and have that available to you, because now that you're in the process of emerging into a more full, integrating your soul self with this human self that has these things going on that you don't know what to do with, then you have some powerful tools at your disposal when you learn how to utilize them. So that's another possibility. So I use a pendulum when I'm stuck, and I just breathe. You deep breathe a few times, like you do with anything that you're trying to solve. You have to do some deep breathing, move your awareness to your heart. All you're doing is moving your awareness. I used to imagine me packing a suitcase and going and sitting on a bench there in my heart. And it's been in a cave, it's been on a bluff, it's been on a bench on a mountainside, and it's been any place that is a place that you would feel safe and comfortable to access the help that's at your disposal. So I asked, what mine was, and it had to do with old patterns that were embedded from an early age in my life with this young girl. this young child, and then I have a good friend who pushed a button, and my button. I have to tell you, you have to remember, if you get angry, it's your button. Somebody just managed to find it and push it. What's that button go to? Well, if you're getting angry and upset, well, it's your button. We'll talk about that a little bit more too. But so I managed to connect with its betrayals, and it isn't. They pile up and they pile up and they pile up, and that's, it's at the point where you don't know what to do anything. And the universe and the God that I love so much said, it's time for that kettle to blow. And so let's push her button. And there it emerged. And what it came out with at this stage in my life, it was that it is deep, deep sorrow for all the suffering that took place because of the things that were perpetrated against me. And I don't consider myself a victim. I'm here. Let's address that too. If I chose this lifetime, and if I chose my parents and the family I incarnated into, and if I chose the circumstances that I wanted to overcome, learn, and grow from, then, this is just a part of that. It's the yin and yang symbol. I know you've seen it. It's a give and take. And so somebody who I least expected, pushed that betrayal button, and it popped up all these feelings and emotions. And so that's what I've been processing, and I'm clearing it. I don't need it anymore. It's not relevant to who I am. It isn't relevant anymore in any situation, because I've learned that first of all, God is in charge, and I'm a part of that. I'm a part of that creative element. And if I stick with the betrayals and the abuses and the neglect and whatever else, I perceive took place back here, and then I'm stuck back there and I will never move forward. So I have to look at this taking place in whatever this present moment is and say, I'm releasing these feelings and emotions that no longer serve a useful purpose in my life. And I ask that my Father, Mother, God, Creator, Source, take it, transmute it into butterflies, or sunshine, beautiful flowers, allow it to become something that is lovely in nature in your life. So that's what I do. I can box it up. There's so many things you can do. You can get yourself a little box that's empty. Put your sorrows in there, whatever they are, and you can even write them on a piece of paper. And then sometime when you're done with your process, go out and burn those papers, and just send them up. The sun is one of our life force. It's a major life force for us. And so anything that you send to the sun, it will transmute. So those are words, those are important words for you to remember. We're not staying stuck in the past. We are acknowledging it, that it is a part of our past, that it's been imprinted in our cells, and it's harming us. It's holding us back. It's limiting our progress forward and our forward momentum. And it is time to release it. And I release it and turn to God, and then I sit there in gratitude and I say, thank you, Sun, for your power to offer me life. We're not gonna live without the sun. So thank you for the life-giving force that you have, that that fills every aspect of this being, Claudia, and for your ability to transmute my sorrows and my all of the things, whatever suffering, sorrows, whatever words that you have, that you have identified. And that is all part of God. It's all part of creation. So you have light beings who can help you with things. I'm a hypnotherapist. I can do lots of work over the phone. And so, I'm absolutely available to help with small and big. It doesn't matter. In any way that is beneficial to you, and your guidance is how I access what it is that you need the most. So that information. You can access more about me from my website in the information that'll be posted below. So you get the idea here that we fall into, I'm not, what do I want to say? I'm susceptible to the same things that you are. So that's the word I was looking for, I guess. I'm not free from no matter how happy I am most of the time. It's always a shock to me when something comes up and it gets overwhelming, and I will cry sometimes for no reason. And I allow that. Get the tears out till it's done, and then sit with it. Sit with whatever those emotions are and identify it. So that's a co-creator's job. You become, when that's awareness, it's a big step in the direction of becoming a conscious human. And once we can remove that stuff out of our energy field in our bodies, our minds, mentally, emotionally, physically, our spirit is helping us to move on, and that's what that's all about. I hope this has been helpful to you, and I'm not sure because I just totally did this. I have no notes. This came up this morning. I've been with it for a couple of hours, actually, and now I'm just ready to release it, and this was a big aspect of doing that for me. Just mentioning those things. I imagine that happening, and so it is, and it takes it from me. And I will sit and do some cleansing, auric field cleansing and chakras and whatnot on my self, and will be right as rain for your next instructional video. And so I want to thank you for joining me, all you beautiful travelers on this planet. You are brave beings to be here during these times of upheaval and chaos, and it feels like probably a huge challenge, and you can get really stuck. The truth of it is, everything is in a divine alignment with us helping to shift us into our soul self, or our soul beingness, because that's where we become the true loving, caring, compassionate, trustful, truthful, cooperative, harmonious beings that we are, abundant. We're just, all these things need to be out of us and no longer a part of who we are in order for us to create a really fabulous place to live. So thank you again for joining me. Thank you for liking, subscribing, share, and join me often. I'm happy to have you here. Make as many comments as you would like, and be kind. I mean, I'm a human. Just like you, we go through stuff. So take care of yourselves. I love you this much. I am here for you in so many ways, and I look forward to meeting you again on the next video. Thank you for joining me. Bye now.